So I want to thank you again for coming in today. I know you guys got up really early because of your show last night in Seattle, so a big thank you. We did set some ground rules. I was not going to interrogate you because you asked.
Softball.
Right, so softball questions. So we'll make it easy. Again, thank you for coming in. It's not easy getting up early to play in front of the audience, but we really appreciate it.
Here.
Yeah.
Nowhere we'd rather be.
Oh, awesome. Oh,
I know, it's great.
It is great.
Nice.
This is your second time here. Welcome back, by the way. You were here 7 years ago in April. I looked that up.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Someone asked me if we had done this before, and I said no.
No, I've never been here before.
You know, it feels like 3 years. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either. Speaking of which, so your new album, Daniel, was just released, 10 days ago. And it's almost 4 years to the date to your last album, sort of alluding to that 4-year gap. An album in which you weren't able to tour with, but this one you can. I mean, what a difference 4 years makes.
Yeah, or I guess just that last one was it was a weird circumstance. So yeah, we're happy to be able to do stuff like this for sure this time. Yeah.
and two people two people back there are as well.
You know, what is really funny about that? Like, I think a lot of bands had the same kind of reaction or sort of active text thread like we have going when, all that was happening and we were all kind of isolating in our homes and we said, I don't care where it is, I'll never take for granted waking up at 6 in the morning and having to drive to a radio station ever again. It's the best thing. So it's really important to keep in mind on days like today that we did all say that to each other.
Right. And I can't even imagine how it was to release this album, be really excited, put all of that work and energy into it, and then, you're just like, okay, now what? I mean, how you spent those 4 years, did you do like other bands and do live stuff on social media? I mean, how did you get that music out to folks?
Yeah, we did a lot of that kind of thing and like remote sessions and recording in our respective homes and then mixing it together. We got pretty sick of I remember like after a year of doing like remote kind of stuff like that, remote sessions for radio stations and things like that. It was like, I can't do another one of these. Like, and just performing in front of your computer it was just awful. Yeah, it's just not fun.
Turns out digital's still not the same as real life,
I know.
No matter what they say.
And so, I mean, being out now, fantastic experience, but what did you miss most from touring? Here's this. What surprised you that you missed most from touring?
It was, for me, or maybe for all of us, but it was the weird thing about putting a record out and then not touring wasn't like not being able to play the songs, but it was kind of not being able to get the feedback from like after the show, talking to people and finding out like what songs people liked and it just felt strange sort of putting a record out and not even knowing if anyone heard it or like, because usually you kind of you got your favorites, but then other favorites will emerge, from the fans, and it was weird not getting to have that kind of feedback for sure.
You figure out what the songs are when you're playing them live. At least we're that kind of band, in a way. They're one thing in the studio, and then you sort of breathe new life into them when you're playing them live together. And we never really got to do that for our previous record, so it's almost like, notwithstanding any of the other terrible stuff that happened, obviously, but like it is interesting to have one in the catalog feel a little bit like a lost record or a mysterious one or something like that. It kind of holds that sort of space for me in a way.
Yeah, it's a lost year for everyone in very different ways. Is this your first official tour since the pandemic?
We snuck one in 2021 just because we were like saw other bands working and we were like, we gotta do something just to, but that was just sort of like a more mellow, low key for us, sort of getting our feet back in the water. And this is the, with the record and the proper promotion and everything, it's the first time since like, I don't know, 2018, 2019 is quite wild. Yeah.
Since the last time you were here.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So you worked with a new producer on this, and I was looking, you've worked with different producers each time on each album. How do you go about looking for a producer? I mean, is there something or someone in particular, some unique perspective that they had for this album for the music that you had?
Often in the past, it would be like for example, we were recording at a certain studio, and this is the guy that works there. Or like we have an entire record written, and we are planning to record it in 2 months. We need to figure out who we're gonna record it. Like we were less, I think, intentional about these things in the past, or we know someone that knows how to record, or it's our friend, or this time. We kind of like knew the type of record we wanted to make, and Daniel Tashin seemed like a really good person to execute it. So that was, and it was through kind of his previous work and things like that, and the label making suggestions to us, and so it was more thought through this time perhaps than what you said about us using a different producer each time isn't entirely true, because the last record we made, that was the first time we used a producer that we had worked with on a previous record, like a few records back. And that was sort of us being like, this feels like it felt good. Like we wanted to kind of make a record that, I don't know, it just felt right at the time to kind of go back to that guy. And so it's just, it's unique with each record. It is nice. This is the first time where I think maybe, I would like to maybe just do it again, with Daniel, because it felt really good working with him.
Well, it sounds like the whole process was intentional, because if I read this correctly, you folks went in having played the songs a lot so that you could not have to do as much, digital work, if you will.
Well, we were pretty well rehearsed. Also, I think we didn't want to. We were intending to take 2 weeks in the studio and kind of be quick about it, which we've done that in the past as well, but then other records you kind of stretch out, and maybe you've got 4 or 5 songs written, and you're like, let's book some studio time. And then this was like, we're gonna get the record ready to go into the studio and just like hammer it out really, really quickly.
But should say by Nashville speed, that was like laborious and long.
Yeah, they moved quick down
It was
there.
kind of interesting. We were in this really historic, classic sort of country studio, and working with people who work on those kinds of records a lot. And we're used to making records in a kind of like indie rock paradigm that can stretch from 2 weeks to a year, and sometimes that's celebrated and sometimes it isn't. But it's like these country folks, they'll do like 3 sessions a day, and break for lunch, and like it's a very singles driven kind of world. Like the tunes are done, everybody's clocking in, they're going to work, And we thought, we were kind of working a little bit in that modality with these folks and moving quick pace for us. And they were saying like, it's so nice to have so much time to spend on a record, 2 songs a day. We're moving so slow here, and it was a cool way to meet in the middle, because fast for us, slow. It was like everybody's finding their own mutual kind of center novelty point, which was great, worked well.
Well, the new album is Daniel, released on the 23rd of February. You're at Revolution Hall tonight. We got you at the beginning of your tour. We thank you again for coming into the PNC Live Studio at KINK. And you're going to play some more songs. Back to Real Estate.
Thank you.